And if everyone else will please silent your phone. The first team up is White County.
Please do not look at your card. Please do not fold, bend, or write on your card. Please leave the card in your place when you leave after the presentation. Okay. Turn over your card. You have 1 minute. Time. You may begin.
Is there any new business to be brought for this chapter?
Mr. Chairman,
Haley.
I move that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter.
Second.
It's been moved to second that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. It is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote for passage. Is there any debate?
Mr. Chairman,
Haley.
I'm in favor of this motion because this would be a great way to get our chapter out in our state and promote our chapter to the rest of our state. For these reasons, I hope the motion will prevail.
Mr. Chairman,
Anna.
I am not in favor of this motion. Our chapter is planning local lifestyle projects right now and planning for our banquet that is coming up soon. Planning this on our plate right now would be too much for our chapter to handle. For these reasons, I hope the motion is not adopted.
Mr. Chairman,
Marty.
I wish to speak against this motion. Seeing as though we have multiple CDs, LDs, livestock projects, area banquet, and state convention come up, I feel as if through all this we will not have the time to send our officer to visit the senator and the representative. Seeing this, I hope you join me in failing this motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Braylon.
I'm in favor of this motion. Sending our chapter officers to visit the state senative and representatives would be a great way for them to learn from them, as well as get our name out as a local chapter. That way they can learn from them, as well as it would be able to help support them, as well as show our support for them. That way they support us. For these reasons, I hope you'll follow me in passing this motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Audrey.
I'm opposed to this motion, seeing that most of our chapter officers are seniors and they're getting prepared for college and SAT and ACT courses, and they will not have time to go visit our state senator and representatives. For these reasons, get behind me and vote no.
Mr. Chairman,
Haley.
Adoption of this motion will greatly benefit our FFA chapter, being that this would allow for students to meet with senators and representatives from our state and learn more about our government and how it works. For these reasons, I hope the motion will prevail.
Mr. Chairman,
Anna.
I move to refer the motion to Committee 3, appointed by the chair with full power to act.
Second.
It's been moved to second to refer the motion to Committee of 3, appointed by the chair with full power to act.
I move to withdraw the motion.
It's been moved. Are there any seconds?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the member be permitted to withdraw the motion. It is not debatable, not amendable, and requires majority vote with passage. We're now proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
Noes have it, the motion is lost. Is there any debate on the motion to committee to refer?
Mr. Chairman,
Anna.
I'm in favor of this motion. Our chairman has been a part of this chapter for 3 years now and has the adequate contacts to assign a committee that is properly suited for this motion. For these reasons, I hope the motion is adopted.
Mr. Chairman,
Haley.
I am not in favor of this motion, being that this committee would have the final say on the matter, and 3 members is not a big enough cross-section of our entire membership and could result in the wrong decision being made. For these reasons, I hope the motion will not prevail.
Mr. Chairman.
Marty.
I'm in opposition to this motion. I feel as if us as Assembly currently have an adequate amount of information to where we can come to a conclusive result on our own without the need of referring this motion. Seeing this, I hope you will join me in failing this motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Breland.
I'm against this motion. Seeing that the committee would be appointed by the chair with full power to act, this gives the opportunity for a biased opinion and an unfair ruling. I believe that we as an Assembly have everything that we need to make a fair ruling on this decision and can cause for an unbiased opinion on whether or not the motion should be adopted. For these reasons, I hope you'll follow me in failing this motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Audrey.
I'm opposed to this motion, seeing that our chairman is under a bunch of stress right now due to AP and dual enrollment classes. He'll not make an adequate decision for our chapter because of his stress. For these reasons, get behind me and vote no.
Is there any further debate? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. All in favor of referring the motion to Committee of Three, appointed by the chair with full power to act, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, the motion is lost. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Marty.
I move to amend the motion by adding the words that all arrangements be taken care of by the Secretary.
Second.
It is moved and seconded to amend the motion by adding the words that all arrangements be taken care of by the Secretary. It is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote for passage. Is there any debate?
Mr. Chairman.
Marty.
I would like to speak in favor of this motion. Seeing as our Secretary has handled motions like this in a super effective way, I feel as if she will be the right choice to make the arrangements. She will do everything effectively and efficiently. Seeing this, I hope you will join me in passing this motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Haley.
I am not in favor of this motion. Our secretary does not have the time right now, since she is planning our local banquet, to plan for our chapter to go to visit our state senators and representatives. For these reasons, I hope the motion will not prevail.
Mr. Chairman.
Anna.
This motion will not benefit our FFA chapter. Our secretary is a senior and getting ready to attend college, so putting this motion on her, she will not be focusing on this motion, but she will be focusing on her future instead. For these reasons, I hope the motion will not be adopted.
Mr. Chairman.
Breland.
I'm in favor of this motion. Seeing that the Secretary has been a part of our officer team for 3 years now, this makes her a responsible individual who is more than capable of making the arrangements for this task. It also gives her insight on what will be the best way in furthering this decision. For these reasons, I hope you'll follow me in passing this motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Audrey.
I'm opposed to this motion. Even though our secretary is fully responsible and capable of handling this motion, she's getting prepared for the SAT and ACT courses, and putting this motion on her will be too much stress on her plate. For these reasons, I hope the motion will not prevail.
Is there any further debate? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. All in favor of amending the motion by adding the words that all arrangements be taken care of by the Secretary, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it, we will amend the motion. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
I rise to a
Mr.
question of
Chairman.
privilege.
State your question.
It is getting rather warm in here. Maybe remove our FFA jackets.
Seeing this is a formal event, our FFA jackets will remain on. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Breland.
Since our guest speaker just arrived, I move to lay the motion on the table.
Second.
It is moved and seconded to lay the motion on the table. It is not debatable, not amendable, and requires majority vote for passage. We're now proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, the motion is lost. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Audrey.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
It is moved and seconded to adjourn. It is not debatable, not amendable, and requires majority vote for passage. We're now proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, the motion is lost. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Anna.
I am not in favor of this motion. We do not have the adequate funds or transportation to send our chapter officers to visit our state senator or representatives. For these reasons, I hope the motion is not adopted.
Mr. Chairman.
Marty.
I would like to speak as this motion. Seeing as though last semester we have already sent our officer team to visit our state senator and representatives, I feel as if it would not be beneficial to send them twice a year. Seeing this, I hope you would join me in failing this motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Breland.
I'm in favor of this motion. Seeing that our officers need the inspiration and the leadership skills that they can learn from the senator and the representatives, this will also help them in learning how to develop their premier leadership skills, career success, and personal growth, as stated in our FFA mission statement. This is a great way for them to learn skills from the state senator and representative. That way they can get higher up in their future. For these reasons, I hope you'll follow me in passing this motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Audrey.
I'm not in favor of this motion. Seeing that we have a community service project the same week we want to send our chapter officers to the state senator and representative, and we need our president and vice president focused on the community service project cleanup day. For these reasons, they will not have time to focus on this going to the state representative and senator's office. For these reasons, get behind me and vote no.
Mr. Chairman.
Marty.
I move to recess for 5 minutes.
It has been moved and seconded to recess for 5 minutes. It is not debatable, it is amendable, and requires majority vote for passage. Are there any amendments? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, the motion is lost. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Braylon.
I move that when this meeting adjourned, it adjourned to meet at 10 o'clock in the morning.
It has been moved and seconded that when this meeting adjourns, it adjourns to meet at 10 o'clock in the morning. It is not debatable, it is amendable, and requires majority vote for passage. Are there any amendments? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, the motion is lost. Is there any further debate on the main motion? Seeing none, we will vote. All in favor that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter with all the arrangements taken care of by the secretary say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, our chapter will not visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter with all arrangements taken care of by the secretary. Is there any further business brought for this chapter?
Mr. Chairman,
Audrey.
I move to reconsider the vote I move that our chapter hosts a dog grooming clinic that I voted on the prevailing side when it was last voted upon.
It has been moved and seconded to reconsider the vote on the motion that our chapter host a dog grooming clinic where the member voted on the prevailing side where the motion was last voted upon. It is debatable, not amendable, and requires majority vote for passage. Is there any debate? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it, the motion is lost. Is there any further business brought for this chapter? Seeing none, we will adjourn. Honorable judges, this concludes our abilities. We are now entertain questions.
Judges, please ask the 6 assigned questions.
To the member who had question of privilege. When a member rises to a question of privilege, the chair must make 2 rulings at that time. What are those 2 rulings?
He must state if the question of privilege will be accepted or not, and then he will state his reason behind it.
Thank you.
To the member with the motion to withdraw. If a motion maker accepts a suggested alteration to a main motion before it has been restated by the chair, and the person who originally seconded the motion then withdraws their second, is another second required?
Yes.
Explain your answer.
Because main motions have to be seconded.
Thank you.
To the member who had amend, this is a 3-part question, so I'll ask each one of those, okay? You can answer after each one. What amendment process would be used to replace an entire motion with another motion?
Can you please repeat the question?
What amendment process would be used to replace an entire motion with another motion?
Striking out then inserting.
Second question. Is the amendment process to substitute amendable?
Can you please repeat the question?
Is the amendment process to substitute amendable?
Yes.
Third question. What vote is required to adopt an amendment to substitute?
Majority.
Thank you.
To the member with lay on the table. Name 3 unamendable privileged motions that take precedence over the motion to lay on the table.
Adjourn, brought to a question of privilege, and call for the order of the day.
Thank you.
To the member that had the motion to reconsider. If a motion to reconsider is debatable, what subsidiary motions can be applied to it in addition to lay on the table?
Previous question, limit or extensive debate, and commit or refer.
Thank you.
President's question. A member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks how they can remove the limit on the number of debates per person, but not the length of debates by a majority vote. As the chair, name 3 responses that would be correct.
You can make the motion to limit or extend limits of debate. Or you can make the motion to limit or extend the limit of debate. Well, can you repeat the question?
A member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks how they can remove the limit on the number of debates per person, but not the length of debates by a majority vote. As the chair, name 3 responses that would be correct.
They can call for a limit or extend limit debate, but only change the amount of debates. Change the time, keep it 10 minutes. They can call for an appeal. They can just extend debate without extending the time.
Judges, are there any follow-up questions for clarification?
Okay, y'all moved to refer the motion to a committee. How many were in that committee and who would appoint that committee?
There would be 3 in the committee, and the committee would be appointed by the chair.
Okay, and what vote is required to adopt a commit or refer?
Majority.
Same motion, what information should be included in the making of the motion to commit or refer?
Who appoints the committee and how many will be in the committee?
When a committee is given the power to act, what actions can they take specifically?
They can choose whether to pass or fail the motion within the committee.
Thank you.
When is the motion to amend undebatable?
It is undebatable if it is applied to any undebatable motion.
What are the 3 types of amendments that a member can make?
There are the primary amendments and secondary amendments, but when you amend a motion, you can either add words, insert words, or strike out.
Can I clarify on that last bit? You said add words, insert words, and then strike out, correct?
Yes, sir. When you're amending a motion, the only 3 steps that you can take to amending the motion is you can either add words to the end of the sentence, you can insert words in the middle of the sentence, or you can strike out words.
For the motion to withdraw, what are the conditions considering voting when it comes to the motion to withdraw?
For a majority vote, it would take an entire membership to be there or previous notice, and then for 2/3, it would require you would not have received previous notice.
Can you reconsider the motion to withdraw?
You cannot reconsider the motion to withdraw.
What are the qualifications for a member to make the motion to reconsider?
They had to have voted on the prevailing side of the motion.
Thank you.
Someone rose to a question of privilege. What was your question and why were you asking that question?
My question is if we can remove, it was getting rather warm in here, so I asked if we could remove our FFA jackets. So I asked if we could remove it because it was getting more warmer in here.
And what was the chair's ruling?
He said that since this is a formal event, we cannot remove our FFA jackets.
Someone moved to fix the time in which to adjourn. What were your reasonings behind that, and what does the fixed time in which to adjourn require a second, and is it debatable or amendable?
Fix the time to which adjourn is to make an adjourned meeting for the next day. It does require a second. It is not debatable, but it is amendable.
Okay.
For the motion to lay on the table, can anyone tell me if that is reconsiderable?
It is only reconsiderable if there is a negative vote on the motion.
What privileged motion can be reconsidered?
The motion to fix the time which to adjourn can be reconsidered.
Thank you.
Time.
Thank you, guys. We can exit the room now. Courtesy Corps, you can open the doors.
Good morning and welcome to Finals Hall for the Parliamentary Procedure Senior Event. At this time, the Courtesy Corps will shut the doors. Do not leave during the event. The doors will open afterwards, and please silence all cell phones. The next team up is Crawford County.
Please do not look at your card. Please do not fold, bend, or write on the card. Please leave the card in your place when you leave after the presentation. Turn over your cards. You have 1 minute to review the motion. Time. You may begin your presentation.
Is there any further business to be transacted at this time?
Madam Chairperson,
Alicia?
I move to reconsider the motion that our chapter hosts a dog grooming clinic.
Second. And did you vote on the prevailing side?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Consider the motion that we reconsider has been properly moved and seconded. It is debatable, it is not amendable, and requires a majority vote to pass. Is there any debate?
Madam Chairperson.
Alicia?
Seeing as I made this motion for the fact that since then we have given information that we will not have the facility to host the dog grooming clinic. So please stand with me and pass this reconsiderment.
Madam Chairperson.
Audrey.
I stand in opposition of this reconsiderment for seeing that we've done a recent survey of how many dogs would be coming to this year's, and it would be an incline from previous years. So by getting rid of this dog grooming clinic, it would be a waste. So please stand with me and fail this motion.
Is there any further discussion on the motion to reconsider? Hearing none, will now proceed to a vote. Those in favor of reconsidering the motion that our chapter host a dog grooming clinic, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposing, please say no.
No.
Reconsider fails. Is there any further business to be transacted at this time?
Madam Chairperson.
Audrey.
I move that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. It is debatable. It is
consideration of the question.
The consideration of the question has been objected to. Shall the assembly consider the question? Those in favor of considering the question, please rise. Thank you. Please be seated. Those opposing considering the question, please rise. Thank you. Please be seated. The assembly will consider the question. The main motion is debatable. It is amendable and requires a majority vote to pass. Is there any debate?
Madam Chairperson.
Audrey.
I propose this motion for seeing, since we come from such a small community and small school, by sending an officer to meet these important people, we would be able to get our chapter's name out there and hopefully gain recognition for our achievements and volunteer work that we tend to do. So please stand with me and pass this motion.
Madam Chairperson.
Alicia.
I vote down. I believe that we should vote down this motion, seeing as we do not know when we will go visit the state senator and representative. We do not have the information we need to pass this motion, so please stand with me and fail this motion.
Madam Chairperson.
Katie.
I'm strongly opposed to this motion because we have inadequate funds to be able to travel to see the state senator and representative, so please vote with me and fail this motion.
Madam Chairperson.
Jordan.
I'm strongly opposed to this motion, obviously, since I objected to it. I'm against it because we do not know which chapter officer we'll be sending and when they will go and certain information of that nature. Due to this, I cannot give my support to this motion. Vote no.
Madam Chairperson.
Yuki.
I strongly support this main motion, seeing if we go and visit the state senator and representatives, we could build a connection with them, and it would open our chapter into more opportunities such to get funding or scholarships for our chapter. So please stand behind me and pass this motion.
I rise to a question of privilege.
State your question.
It is hot here. May I remove my jacket?
No, you may not, for it's a standing rule within our chapter to remain in official dress throughout the entire meeting.
Madam Chairperson.
Jordan.
I've just been informed our guest speaker has a flight to catch. I move we lay the pending question on the table.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we lay the pending question on the table. It is not debatable. It is not amendable and requires a majority vote to pass. Those in favor of laying the pending question on the table, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposing, please say no.
No.
Motion fails. The main motion is on the floor for debate.
Madam Chairperson.
Katie.
I move that we refer the pending question to a committee of 3 appointed by the chair.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we refer the pending question to a committee of 3 appointed by the chair. It is debatable, it is amendable, and requires a majority vote to pass. Is there any debate?
Madam Chairperson.
Katie.
I made this reconsiderment because not all of our members are present at this current meeting. And by reconsidering this giving this to a committee, we will be able to get a better vote and know how many know more information about this. Please vote with me and pass this referral.
Madam Chairperson.
Yuki.
I'm strongly against this referral. Seeing how our program of activities is coming up and will be due very soon, I feel that if we refer this pending question, we will not have time to place this. So please stand behind me and fail this referral.
Madam Chairperson.
Jordan.
I'm strongly for this referral. Due to the fact that our advisor is not here to make such a big decision with us, I believe that we do not have the authority or the input we don't have the authority, or we would need their input to decide if we should do this. Therefore, I think we should refer this. Please vote yes.
Madam Chairperson.
Katie.
I move to withdraw my motion.
Second.
Is there any objection to why this motion shall not be withdrawn? Hearing none, I now see this motion as withdrawn. The main motion is on the floor for debate.
Madam Chairperson.
Jordan.
I'm still strongly against this. Even if we do put our name out there with even if we were to promote our local chapter, I believe we still have much work to do at home, such as improving our sponsorships and doing fundraisers and to reaching out to local businesses to do this. Therefore, I think we should focus at home rather than moving forward. Please vote no against this motion.
Madam Chairperson,
Yuki.
my opinion has been swayed. I'm now in opposition of this motion, seeing how if we only send one chapter officer, we will be excluding the rest. I feel that we should open it to more opportunities for other people as well. So please stand behind me and fail this main motion.
Madam Chairperson.
Alicia?
My vote has been swayed. I am now for this motion, seeing as if we visit our state senator and representative, they can bring in more funds into our chapter by giving us donations and getting other people to donate to our chapter. So please stand with me and pass this motion.
Madam Chairperson.
Yuki.
I move to amend the main motion by striking out "and representatives."
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we amend the pending question by striking out "and representatives," so that the pending question would read, I move that our chapter officer visit our state senator to promote our local chapter. It is debatable, it is amendable, and requires a majority vote to pass. Is there any debate?
Madam Chairperson.
Audrey. Oh, Yuki, excuse me.
I made this amendment seeing how our school's youth leadership has just went on a field trip to the state capitol where our representatives reside, and they go into many debates throughout the day. I feel that their schedule will be too packed in order to see them. So please stand behind me and pass this amendment.
Madam Chairperson.
Audrey?
I'm against this amendment for seeing that since our representatives tend to be more into the community, our members visiting them and actually getting to know them personally would help benefit our chapter and also would benefit our chapter and still promote it even better. So please stand with me and fail this amendment.
Madam Chairperson.
Joran.
I'm strongly opposed to this amendment, considering the fact we could send our chapter officer while there is a session in Atlanta. It would be much easier for our chapter to visit everyone rather than focusing on just looking for one person in such a crowded area. So please stand with me and fail this amendment.
Madam Chairperson.
Katie.
I'm strongly against this amendment because by not promoting to our representative, we will make it where our chapter is not able to gain as many members as it would be able to. So please vote with me against this amendment.
Madam Chairperson.
Alicia.
I am strongly for this amendment, seeing as our state representatives don't really do very much for our community as a whole, but our state senator does everything he can to support us as a chapter and as a community. So please stand with me and pass this amendment.
Is there any further discussion on the motion to amend? Hearing none, will now proceed to a vote. Those in favor of moving that our chapter officer visit our state senator. Those in favor of the amendment that our chapter officer visit our state senator to promote our local chapter, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposing, please say no.
No.
The amendment fails. The main motion is on the floor for debate.
Madam Chairperson.
Audrey.
I still believe that this motion is a great idea for seeing that since our chapter is placed in a low-income community, by visiting the state senator and representatives and promoting our chapter name, we would be more eligible for scholarships and donations to help build our chapter. So please stand with me and pass this motion.
Madam Chairperson.
Yuki.
I move that when we adjourn, we stand adjourned until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in the ag room.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that when we adjourn, we stand adjourned until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in the ag room. It is not debatable, it is amendable, and requires a majority vote to pass. Are there any amendments? Hearing none, will now proceed to a vote. Those in favor of fixing the time which to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposing, please say no.
No.
Motion fails. The main motion is on the floor for debate.
Madam Chairperson.
Katie.
My vote has been swayed. I am now for this motion because by sending a chapter officer to visit the state senator and representative, since our chapter is so small, we will be able to promote it and gain a bigger number of members for our chapter. So please vote with me and pass this motion.
Madam Chairperson.
Alicia.
I move the previous question.
Second.
The previous question has been properly moved and seconded. It is not debatable, it is not amendable, and requires a two-thirds vote to pass. Those in favor of moving the previous question, please rise. Thank you. Please be seated. Previous question passes. We will now proceed to a vote on the main motion. Those in favor of moving that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposing, please say no.
No.
Motion fails. Is there any further business to be transacted at this time? Hearing none, I now see this meeting as adjourned. Please rise for oral questions.
Judges, please ask the 6 assigned questions.
To the member with question of privilege. When a member rises to a question of privilege, the chair must make 2 rulings at that time. What are those 2 rulings?
Can you restate your question?
Yes. When a member rises to a question of privilege, The chair must make 2 rulings at that time. What are those 2 rulings?
The chair would rule on, I'm sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
Yeah. When a member rises to a question of privilege, the chair must make 2 rulings at that time. What are those 2 rulings?
It would rule to see if it is a question of personal privilege or a question of privilege affecting the assembly.
It's the member that had the motion to withdraw. If a motion maker accepts the suggested alteration to a main motion before it has been restated by the chair, and the person who originally seconded the motion then withdraws their second, is another second required?
No.
Explain.
The motion is, can you please restate the question?
Problem. If a motion maker accepts a suggested alteration to a main motion before it has been restated by the chair, and the person who originally seconded the motion then withdraws their second, is another second required?
No, because their motion, they could have changed their mind on the amendment, so they wouldn't require another second.
To the member who had amend, this is a 3-part question. I'll state each one, you can answer after each. What amendment process would be used to replace an entire motion with another motion?
Substitution.
Is the amendment process to substitute amendable?
Yes.
What vote is required to adopt an amendment to substitute?
Majority.
Thank you.
To the member with the motion to lay on the table, name 3 unamendable privileged motions that take precedence over the motion to lay on the table.
Can you repeat that question, please?
Name 3 unamendable privileged motions that take precedence over the motion to lay on the table.
Adjourn. Call for the orders of the day and question of privilege.
Thank you.
To the member that had the motion to reconsider. If a motion to reconsider is debatable, what subsidiary motions can be applied to it in addition to lay on the table? No problem. If a motion to reconsider is debatable, what subsidiary motions can be applied to it in addition to lay on the table? Thank you.
This question's for the president. A member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks how they can remove the limit on the number of debates per person, but not the length of debates by a majority vote. As the chair, name 3 responses that would be correct.
Can you repeat your question one more time, sir?
A member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks how they can remove the limit on the number of debates per person, but not the length of debates by a majority vote. As the chair, name 3 responses that would be correct.
Yes, sir. I would recommend moving the motion to limit or extend limits of debate again. If the assembly were to agree to it by unanimous consent, and then also put it before the assembly for a 2/3 vote.
Thank you.
Judges, are there any questions for clarification?
A member chose to object to the consideration of the question. What was your reasoning behind making that motion?
I chose to object because I felt like the motion we shouldn't have even considered in the first place. I couldn't, and I didn't want to debate it at all.
This question's for anyone. During what duration can a member make the motion to object?
Before it is stated, after it is stated by the chair, and then before it is debated.
On the motion to amend, you use strike out. What are other two ways that you can amend the main motion?
I could strike out and insert, or I could add.
Can the motion to lay on the table be reconsidered?
Is this for anybody?
Yes, anyone can answer these
Yes,
questions.
ma'am, it can be negative only.
The motion for a previous question was made today. Can you tell me what form of previous question was made?
An unqualified one?
And how would you tell the difference?
Because she didn't specify which motion she was pushing previous question on.
So which motion would it apply to?
The one she put on was the main motion.
Thank you.
This can be for anybody. When is the motion to amend undebatable?
When applied to an undebatable motion.
Is the motion to reconsider always debatable? Can you explain? Or anyone?
Reconsider, would it be debatable if I'm sorry, can I change that? I'm so sorry. Yes, it can. It's always debatable. I'm sorry.
It's okay, thanks.
The motion to withdraw was made today, and this question's for anyone. Can someone tell me the conditions required regarding voting for withdrawal?
If there's no objection by the assembly, then the motion would just be withdrawn. But if there is an objection, you would require a majority vote in order to withdraw that motion.
The motion fixed the time in which to adjourn was made. What was the reasoning behind, and what would passing that motion do?
I felt that we would not finish at this motion, and I felt that we should make a time at which to come back to this motion if we did not finish. And your second question was?
The reasoning behind, well,
Oh.
that was it.
What are the qualifications for a member to make the motion to reconsider?
They had to vote on the prevailing side.
A motion to commit or refer was also made today. Can someone tell me the 5 methods of appointing committee members?
One is being appointed by the chair. Another being appointed by records. And the vice president.
What information should be included when you make the motion to commit or refer?
That it should be appointed by the chair, and how many members.
Who can debate a motion first?
The maker of the motion.
Thank you. You can leave the stage. Courtesy Corps, you can open the doors.
Good morning and welcome to Finals Hall for the Senior Parliamentary Procedures event. At this time, will the courtesy corps please close the door? Guests, please do not leave during the event. The doors will be open afterwards. Please silence your cell phones, and next up is Jeff Davis.
Please do not look at your card. Please do not fold, bend, or write on the card. Please leave the card in your place when you leave after the presentation. Turn over your card. You have 1 minute to review the motion.
Is there any new business to come before this meeting?
Madam President.
Maggie.
I move that our FFA chapter buy a livestock trailer.
Second.
I withdraw my motion.
The motion has been withdrawn. Is there any further business to come before this meeting?
Madam President.
Gracie.
I move that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter.
Second. It is moved and seconded that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. Is there any debate?
Madam President.
Gracie.
As the maker of this motion, I am in full agreement. This is a fantastic idea because this will be a great way for us to get out on our social media pages to show everybody in our community, in the state, and everywhere else how hard our chapter is working, to draw people in and show them how great that our FFA chapter is trying to grow and reach out to everybody. So please vote yes for this motion.
Madam President.
Maggie.
I am for this motion. As you know, our advisor is leaving next year, and us being able to get one last trip in with him would be such a great opportunity. So please, vote in favor of the motion.
Madam President.
Ainsley.
This motion is such a great idea. Being from such a small county, we never get the recognition we deserve. We have had so many finalists and proficiencies, and we need to be recognized. So please vote yes.
Madam President.
Morgan.
If you think about it, the state senator and representatives are the leaders of our state. What a great opportunity for one of our chapter officers to get out and see some of the leadership skills that they have and maybe even develop them for themselves. So please vote yes.
Madam President.
Ivan.
This is an absurd idea. As the previous speaker just stated, they are the leaders of our state. So that means they are so busy, they have so many things to do. So if we were to do this, this is taking away their valuable time that they could be using to benefit our state. Therefore, I encourage the Assembly to vote no.
Madam President.
Gracie.
I am still for this motion. Also, as a previous speaker said, it does help leadership skills. We currently have several members in our chapter that are going into the leadership division in their career. So if we were to go visit our state senator and our representatives, this would be able to draw them in so they can learn leadership skills, and this would really benefit our chapter. So please vote yes for this motion.
Madam President.
Maggie.
I still agree with the maker of the motion. Our local Farm Bureau was wanting us to take pictures and be in our local newspaper. If we were to take these pictures, then we could really show some publicity for our chapter. So please vote in favor of the motion.
Madam President, I rise to a question of privilege.
State your question.
It is hot in here. May we remove our FFA jackets?
Seeing to disrupt this meeting, I have to deny your request. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
Madam President.
Ansley.
This motion is still a great idea. Being a member of our floral design team, I know that we got second in area last year, and it did not cut it to make it to state. If we were to design some flower arrangements for these senators, I'm sure they would be very appreciative of it. So please vote yes.
Madam President.
Morgan.
We're from a small community, and that means agriculture is the leading business in our community. If we go out to the state senators and representatives, we can give them our opinions on some of the new agriculture bills that they have been passing.
So I think it would really implement us a good way to promote our business. So please vote yes.
Madam President.
Maggie.
I move to recess for 10 minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to recess for 10 minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no.
No.
The noes have it, and we'll not recess for 10 minutes. Is there any further debate on the main motion?
Madam President.
Ansley.
I move to amend the motion by adding the words next year at the end of the sentence.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend the main motion by adding the words next year at the end of the sentence. When amended, the motion will read, I move that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter next year. Is there any debate?
Madam President.
Ansley.
This amendment is such a great idea. We right now do not even have a chapter officer selected to go, and it will be a very hard choice since we have so many great members. So please vote yes.
Madam President.
Morgan.
Our school is moving up to a Class 3 division school next year. There's going to be so many busy and new events we have going on next year. We simply will not have the time to organize this event and make it good for our officer. So please vote no.
Madam President.
Tracy.
I'm completely for amending this motion. As you know, graduation is coming up next month. So our schedule is going to be packed. If we were to do this next year, we would have time to plan it out. Although next year may be busy, we would still be in more of a better time frame to do this next year. So please vote yes for amending this motion.
Madam President.
Maggie.
I'm strictly against this amendment. As I said previously, we will get pictures if we do this. And I'm in charge of getting our slideshow together for our member banquet, which is coming up in 2 weeks. We just honestly cannot do this next year. Please do not vote for this amendment.
Madam President.
Ivan.
I think that this amendment is a great idea. Someone once said that someone has more time to get something prepared, they will do a better job. So if we do this, this will definitely benefit our chapter and all the members there because they'll get time to get something that was put together with love. So therefore, I encourage everyone here to vote yes.
Madam President.
Ansley.
This amendment is still such a great idea. We have so many members coming up to our FFA chapter next year that want to participate and prepare public speaking. If we were to have this, they could practice their leadership and public speaking skills with the senator and representatives. So please vote yes.
Madam President.
Morgan.
2020 is an election year. That means that our senator and House of Representatives are going to be so busy. They're going to be dealing with members of all over the state with their opinions on the election coming up. They're not going to be able to fit us into their schedule, and they're not going to get the best qualities from it. So please vote no.
Madam President.
Gracie.
I am still for this amendment. As you know, in the past, we have tried to rush things to get them done right after we pass them. If we were to wait till next year, we could plan this out and make sure we have everything organized and ready to go for this trip that we are going to be making. So amending this is a fantastic idea, so vote yes.
Madam President.
Maggie.
I still disagree with the maker of this amendment. Our president is the pride and joy of our chapter, and she is graduating next year. We want her to go on this trip, so please do not vote for this amendment.
Madam President, I rise to a parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
What vote does the pending motion require?
The pending motion requires a majority vote. Is there any further debate on the amendment?
Madam President.
Ivan.
I think that this, here in previous debates, I have changed my opinion and went to the negative side of this motion. Next year, my dad just got a new job offer in Wisconsin, so I'm not going to be there. And I want to do this motion, so if we were to do this, this would be a terrible idea for anyone who is leaving our school, so therefore I encourage everyone here to vote no.
Madam President.
Ansley.
I move the previous question.
Second.
The previous question has been moved. All those in favor of moving the previous question, please rise. 1, 2, be seated. All those opposed, please rise. 1, 2, 3, be seated. There's not 2/3 in the affirmative, and we will not move the previous question. Is there any further debate on the amendment? Hearing none, we will now vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
The noes have it, and will not amend the main motion. Is there any further debate on the main motion, which still reads, I move that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter?
Madam President.
Morgan.
I move to lay the pending motion on the table.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to lay the pending motion on the table. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
The noes have it, will not lay the pending motion on the table. Is there any further business to come, any further debate on the main motion?
Madam President.
Ivan.
I think that this motion is still a bad idea. If we were to go up there, we need to meet someone who actually has the time, and that is our Governor Ryan Kemp. He was able to meet with the FCCLA and the FBLA, and this gave them, their club, a leadership boost, and many of them have better expanded their chapter. So I encourage the Assembly to vote yes. No.
Is there any further debate? Hearing none, we will now vote. All those in favor of adopting this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
The ayes have it, and we will adopt this motion. Is there any further business to come before this meeting?
Madam President.
Ivan.
I move to reconsider the motion dealing with our chapter hosting a dog grooming clinic.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we reconsider the motion that our FFA chapter host a dog grooming clinic. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will now vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
The noes have it, will not reconsider this motion. Is there any further business to come before this meeting?
Madam President.
Morgan.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
The ayes have it, and we will adjourn. We will stand.
Judges, will you please ask the 6 assigned questions?
To the member who had question of privilege. When a member rises to a question of privilege, the chair must make 2 rulings at that time. What are those 2 rulings?
Whether their question of privilege is to be accepted or not, and what the reasoning for it is.
Thank you.
To the member that had the motion to withdraw. If a motion maker accepts a suggested alteration to a main motion before it has been restated by the chair, and the person who originally seconded the motion then withdraws their second, is another second required.
Can you please restate the question?
If a motion maker accepts a suggested alteration to a main motion before it has been restated by the chair, and the person who originally seconded the motion then withdraws their second, is another second required.
Yes.
And explain.
Another second is required because the other one was withdrawn.
Thank you.
To the member who had amend, this is a 3-part question, so I'll ask each one. You can answer after each one. What amendment process would be used to replace an entire motion with another motion?
Striking out and inserting.
Is the amendment process to substitute amendable?
Yes.
What vote is required to adopt an amendment to substitute?
Majority.
To the member who had lay on the table. Name 3 unamendable privileged motions that take precedence over the motion to lay on the table.
Question of privilege, call for the orders of the day, and adjourn.
Thank you.
To the member that had the motion to reconsider. If a motion to reconsider is debatable, what subsidiary motions can be applied to it in addition to lay on the table? No problem. If a motion to reconsider is debatable, what subsidiary motions can be applied to it in addition to lay on the table? Thank you.
President's question. A member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks how they can remove the limit on the number of debates per person, but not the length of debates by a majority vote. As the chair, name 3 responses that would be correct. A member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks how they can remove the limit on the number of debates per person, but not the length of debates by a majority vote. As the chair, name 3 responses that would be correct.
Judges, do you have any follow-up questions for clarification?
Anyone can answer these questions. A member rose to a parliamentary inquiry. What was the question and how did the chair respond?
The question was, what vote does the pending motion require? And she responded that the pending motion requires a majority vote.
Thank you.
The motion to amend was made today. Can someone tell me the 3 forms of an amendment?
To strike out, to insert, and to add.
Anyone can answer this question also. When is the motion to amend undebatable?
When applied to an unabatable motion.
The motion previous question was made. What was the reasoning for moving a previous question?
I was through with my debate and I felt like the debate really did close.
Along the motion for previous question, can you tell me what form of previous question was made today?
To close debate.
Let me be more specific. There are two forms of previous question, a qualified form and a non-qualified form. Which form was made?
Qualified.
And how do you know the difference between the two?
One closes debate and one does not.
Can the motion to lay on the table be reconsidered?
No.
What form of debate, or not necessarily debate, clarification is allowed when making the motion for lay on the table?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, no problem. Lay on the table is not debatable. What sort of clarification is allowed when the maker is making lay on the table?
To put it off to another meeting.
Is the motion to withdraw, can it be reconsidered?
No.
What are the specifications when it comes to withdraw and voting? Are there any circumstances where, does it always require a majority vote? What circumstances would require it?
Motion was not seconded. It is not.
Who has the right to debate a motion first?
Maker of the motion.
What qualifications must a member have to make the motion to reconsider? I've got more of a specific question. For the member that had the motion to reconsider, you changed your side on the amendment. Can you tell me why?
Well, I feel like the amendment was a better idea versus in the main motion, so therefore I changed that.
Gotcha. Yeah, so originally you were for the amendment, and then afterwards you were against it.
Here in previous debates, they made very valid and clear points that showed why we shouldn't do it. So, for example.
When can the motion to adjourn be made?
Which motions take precedence over the motion to withdraw?
Which classifications of motions?
Yeah, which?
Privilege motions, subsidiary motions, and incidental motions.
Time. Thank you, guys. Courtesy court, you can open the door.
Parliamentary Procedures Finals. If at this time all the courtesy corps will shut the doors, please do not leave during the presentation. The doors will open afterwards, and silence all cell phones. At this time, I would like to welcome Tift County to the stage.
Please do not look at your card. Please do not fold, bend, or write on the card. Please leave the card in your place when you leave after the presentation. Turn over your cards. You have 1 minute to review the motion. Time. You may begin your presentation.
The meeting is now in session. Is there any new or unfinished business?
I call for the orders of the day.
The orders of the day have been called. Madam Secretary, will you please name the next item on the agenda?
The next item of business is new business.
Is there any new business?
Mr. Chairperson.
Sarah.
I move to reconsider the motion that our chapter hosts a dog grooming clinic, and I was on the prevailing side.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that we reconsider the motion that our chapter hosts a dog grooming clinic. This motion is debatable yet not amendable and requires majority vote. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairperson.
Sarah.
Please pass this reconsider. We really need to bring this back up because there's extra members in this room that really need to know more about this dog grooming clinic. So please pass this reconsider.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will now proceed to vote. All in favor of reconsidering the motion that our chapter hosts a dog grooming clinic, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it. The motion fails. Is there any further business?
Mr. Chairperson.
Re.
I move that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairperson.
Re.
I'm thrilled to bring this motion to the attention of the Assembly. After speaking with some of my fellow chapter officers, we realized that many of our officer team does not realize the Georgia laws and understand how the state senator and representatives have so much impact in our agriculture, in our state, and in our community. Please stand behind me and vote yes for the main motion.
Mr. Chairperson.
Savannah.
This motion would greatly benefit our chapter. I think that by doing this, it would, under the program activities in the beginning of the semester, our chapter sets goals for the semester, and one of the goals is growing leaders. What better way than grow a leader than to visit our state senator and representatives? This would be a great opportunity for our chapter officers. Please stand behind me in voting yes for this motion.
Mr. Chairperson.
Mary Claire.
Please pass this motion. Agriculture is Georgia's largest industry. By letting our chapter officers visit our state senator and representatives, it will show them that our state senators and representatives are actively working to benefit Georgia's farmers. Please pass this motion.
Mr. Chairperson.
Sarah.
Assembly, please pass this motion. We have recently gotten a grant from one of our sponsors to send our chapter officers to the state senator and representative to help them learn more about the agriculture and what they can do in their chapter to help promote the leadership. Pass this motion.
Mr. Chairperson.
Kaylin.
I discourage this motion from passing. Our chapter officer is currently busy right now planning and organizing our area banquet and our chapter banquet. They do not have time to be visiting the state senator and representatives. Fail this motion.
Mr. Chairperson.
Mary Claire.
I move to take a 10-minute recess for informal consultation.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we take a 10-minute recess for informal consultation. This motion is not debatable yet amendable and requires majority vote. Are there any amendments? Seeing none, we will now proceed to vote. All in favor of taking a 10-minute recess for informal consultation, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it. The motion fails. The motion now on the table is that our chapter officer visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairperson.
Savannah.
I move to amend the main motion by striking out the word officer and inserting members so that the motion reads, if adopted, that our chapter members visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to amend the main motion by striking out the word officer and adding the word members so that the motion would read, if adopted, that our chapter members visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairperson.
Savannah.
Stand behind me and pass this motion. By expanding this to our entire FFA membership, we would grow so many more leaders. As our FFA theme for this year states just one theme, this would be a great way to start with just one person in our chapter and expand it all around. Stand behind me in passing this amendment.
Mr. Chairperson.
Support me in voting yes for this amendment. Many of our members have not had the opportunities to branch out and try some new things in our chapter. Many of our chapter officers have already had opportunities of leadership and visiting and expanding their agricultural desires and what they want to do in our chapter. I feel like this would be a great opportunity for more members to get involved. Please stand behind me in voting yes for the amendment.
Mr. Chairperson.
Mary Claire.
This motion or this amendment will greatly benefit our chapter. Many of our potential sponsors want us to promote our chapter on the state level by sending our chapter members to meet our state senator and representatives. It would allow more people to advocate for our chapter. Please pass this motion.
Mr. Chairperson.
Kaylin.
I'm an advocate for this amendment. One of our members recently did an agri-science fair project in which they took a survey of our members, and the results were that 75% of our chapter membership doesn't know who our state senator and representatives are. This amendment needs to pass to educate our local chapter. Pass this amendment.
Mr. Chairperson.
Sarah.
Vote down this amendment. Even though we recently just got a grant to send our chapter officers, even with this grant, if we amend this motion by doing our members, we would not have enough money with the grant they gave us to send all our members to the state senator and representative. So this would not benefit that greatly. Fail this amendment.
Mr. Chairperson.
Savannah.
I still stand behind this amendment. The reason being is because a lot of people in our FFA chapter has been asking for more opportunities to expand their horizons in FFA and agricultural opportunities. This would be a great way to get our members more involved and more knowledgeable. Stand behind me in passing this amendment.
Mr. Chairperson.
Caitlin.
This amendment needs to be adopted. Our entire membership needs to understand what the state senator and representatives are in order to promote our local chapter. This would benefit not only their knowledge, but our knowledge and the success of our chapter. This amendment needs to be adopted.
Mr. Chairperson.
Mary Claire.
I move to amend the amendment by adding the words next year at the end so that the motion reads, I move that our chapter members visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter next year.
Second.
I withdraw the motion.
The motion is withdrawn. The motion now on the table is that we amend the main motion by striking out the word officers and adding the word members, so the motion would read if adopted, that our chapter members visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairperson.
Ree.
For the amendment, I'm on the prevailing side. Many of our members, not just our chapter officers, but our members are seniors in high school this year, and they are getting ready to go to college and into the real world. If they can even understand the agriculture and day-to-day life and understanding how our government works by speaking and visiting with the state senator and representatives, how would they be ready for the real world? Please stand behind me in voting yes for the amendment.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will now proceed to vote. All in favor of amending the main motion by striking out the word officers and adding the word members, so the motion read that our chapter members visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it. The motion now reads that our chapter members visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairperson.
Savannah.
Now that we have amended our main motion, I'm still in favor for it. A part of the FFA creed is a faith not born of words, but of deeds. What better way than to say what we wanted to do what we want to say than to promote our chapter as the state senator and representatives. This would be a great way to promote the FFA motto and our local chapter. Please pass this motion.
Mr. Chairperson.
Ree.
Seeing that our guest speaker has arrived, I move to lay the motion at hand on the table.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that we lay the pending motion on the table. This motion is not debatable, not amendable, and requires majority vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
The noes have it. The motion fails. The motion now on the table is that our chapter members visit our state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. Is there any discussion?
I rise to a question of privilege.
Please state your question.
It's too cold in here. May we open the door?
No, opening the door would disrupt the business meeting.
Mr. Chairperson,
Re.
please stand behind me in voting yes for the main motion. Many of our students have SAE projects in agribusiness this year, so I feel like by letting our members allowed to visit our state senators and representatives, this will then give them a good opportunity to gain some SAE hours in their agribusiness projects and just look into what agribusiness is in the real world. Please stand behind me in voting yes for the main motion.
Mr. Chairperson,
Mary Claire.
I still encourage the Assembly to pass this motion. One thing our advisors have been trying to teach our members is how to advocate for the agriculture industry. By allowing our chapter members to go visit our state senator and representatives, this would be a great way for them to use those advocacy skills that they've learned in class and use it in a real world setting. Please pass this motion.
Mr. Chairperson,
Palin.
Now that the motion has been newly amended, I'm in favor of this motion. Many of our school has recently absorbed the 9th grade schools into our high school, and many of them don't feel confident enough within our chapter. By seeing the state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter, they'll be able to grow and develop in their knowledge and within our chapter to go and spread the word to other chapters about our achievements. Pass this motion.
Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairperson.
Sarah.
I'm still against this main motion. Many of our FFA members are not prepared to go to the state senate and representative to learn from them and get more knowledge of the FFA from them. They're just not prepared for this. Fail this motion.
Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairperson,
Palin.
I move that when we adjourn to meet back at 5 o'clock on Friday in the Ag Room.
Second.
Is there properly moved and second that when this meeting adjourned, we adjourn to next Friday at 5 o'clock in the Ag Room? This motion is not debatable, yet amendable, and requires majority vote. Are there any amendments? Seeing none, we'll now proceed to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
The ayes have it. When this meeting adjourned, we adjourn to next Friday at 5 o'clock in the Ag Room. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairperson.
Sarah.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Is there properly moved and second that we adjourn the meeting? All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
The noes have it. The meeting is not adjourned. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will now proceed to vote. All in favor of our chapter members visiting the state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
The ayes have it. Our chapter members will visit the state senator and representatives to promote our local chapter. Is there any further business? Seeing none, the meeting is now adjourned. Tift County FFA, please rise for questions.
Judges, please ask the 6 assigned questions.
To the member with question of privilege. When a member rises to a question of privilege, the chair must make 2 rulings at that time. What are those 2 rulings?
Can you repeat the question?
When a member rises to a question of privilege, the chair must make 2 rulings at that time. What are those 2 rulings?
He may rule the question of privilege out of order, or he may answer it.
Thank you.
The member that had the motion to withdraw. This is a long one. If a motion maker accepts a suggested alteration to a main motion before it has been restated by the chair, and the person who originally seconded the motion then withdraws their second, is another second required.
Could you repeat the question, please?
If a motion maker accepts a suggested alteration to a main motion before it has been restated by the chair, and the person who originally seconded the motion then withdraws their second, is another second required.
Yes.
Explain your answer.
So if the member withdrew their second, the motion then would not have a second, so it would require another second.
Thank you.
For the member who had amend, this is a 3-part question. I'll state each question, and you can answer each one individually.
Okay.
What amendment process would be used to replace an entire motion with another motion?
Could you repeat the question?
What amendment process would be used to replace an entire motion with another motion?
Did you say an entire motion with another motion?
Yes.
believe in Robert's Rules of Order, it says that you cannot change an entire motion. It would be ingermane, but striking out would also be possible as well.
Is the amendment process to substitute amendable?
Could you repeat that?
Is the amendment process to substitute amendable?
Yes, it would just be a secondary amendment, an amendment to the amendment.
Third one, what vote is required to adopt an amendment to substitute?
Majority vote.
Thank you.
The member would lay on the table. Name 3 unamendable privileged motions that take precedence over the motion to lay on the table. Name 3 unamendable privileged motions that take precedence over the motion to lay on the table.
Adjourn. Question of privilege and call for the order title.
Thank you.
To the member that had the motion to reconsider. If a motion to reconsider is debatable, what subsidiary motions can be applied to it in addition to lay on the table? If a motion to reconsider is debatable, what subsidiary motions can be applied to it in addition to lay on the table?
This is the president's question. A member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks how they can remove the limit on the number of debates per person, but not the length of the debates by a majority vote. As the chair, name 3 responses that would be correct.
Please restate the question.
A member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks how they can remove the limit on the number of debates per person, but not the length of debates by a majority vote. As the chair, name 3 responses that would be correct.
Well, the first response would be if there is a limit on the amount of debate, that would mean that previously there would have to be a limit or extend limits of debate would have had to been passed in the past. So if we were to go back and rescind that motion to limit or extend to limit debate, then that would be one way to get rid of the limit on debate that is currently on the meeting. Another way would be to make a second extend of debate. There's already a limit in place, so you could have an extend debate, and you could, if you wanted to do that by majority vote, you would have to have previous notice. Well, with rescind, going back to my previous answer, if you wanted to rescind that motion with, since rescind is 2/3, and you wanted to rescind a limit or debate, it would have to have previous notice for it to be a majority. And then the same would apply to a following limit of debate that you would make to extend that. You would have to make an extension of the amount of debate. And then the last thing that you could do would be to I suppose if there was some sort of standing rule that you couldn't have the debates within there, you could suspend a rule, which would require a majority vote if it was a standing rule. So if there was a rule in place that limited debate, you could suspend that standing rule by majority vote.
Judges, do you have any follow-up questions for clarification?
Why was the motion to recess made, and what was the vote?
So I made the motion to recess for informal consultation. So I wanted to take 10 minutes and talk to the other members of the assembly and just kind of gather how they were going to vote and what they were thinking. So just getting extra opinions.
And the reason why it failed is because we didn't feel like it needed to be discussed at the time, and the rest of the assembly did not want to discuss.
This question's for anyone. The motion to call for the orders of the day was made. Can someone please list to me what the orders of the day are and which order of business you were demonstrating?
Do you want like the orders of the day, like which one comes first, or?
Yeah, like the actual order of it.
We say new business because we have already gone through special orders, general orders, and unfinished business. So our new business would be new business. So I was.
The first item of orders of business would be unfinished business.
No. First item of business is special orders, but we've already gone through that, so we started with new business. Did that answer your question? Okay. Just making sure.
An amendment of second rank was given. Anybody can answer this question. Is that always debatable?
Could you repeat the question?
An amendment of second rank was given today. Is that always debatable?
No. An amendment to an amendment is not always debatable unless applied to a debatable motion. At that point, when we amended the amendment, if she had not withdrawn it, we could have debated because the amendment was applied to the amendment and therefore making it debatable.
Following up on amend, can someone please list the 3 forms of an amendment?
Striking out, inserting, and addition.
Thank you.
Can the motion to lay on the table be reconsidered?
Yes.
Yes.
What are the qualifications for a member to make the motion to reconsider?
For a person to reconsider, the qualifications for a reconsider, you would need to state, if you're on the prevailing side, whichever side passed, you would state I'm on the prevailing side. It is not amendable. It is debatable. It requires a second, and you cannot reconsider a reconsider.
Questioner privilege was also made. Can someone tell me the motions that take precedence over that?
Yes, fix the time which to adjourn, recess, and call for orders of the day.
And what are the 2 forms of questioner privilege?
It can be of personal privilege, or it can be for the benefit of the assembly.
Thank you.
Are there any special circumstances in which the motion to withdraw can be reconsidered?
Yes, if withdrawal belonged to the assembly, if it was not just someone else's motion, if it passed, withdrawal did pass, and it belonged to the assembly, and then the withdrawal failed and we voted on it, it could be reconsidered.
Along that motion for withdrawal, what are the conditions regarding it and voting?
If it does not belong to the assembly, there is no vote required because it belonged to that member. But if it belonged to the assembly, then it would require a majority vote.
Follow-up question also, sorry. What motions can also be withdrawn?
Adjourn, recess, previous question.
Are you referring to any? Could you restate the question? Like,
Yeah, just what kind of motions can be withdrawn?
Kind of motions. Any motion that would require a input by any motion that a member would make that would require a vote by the assembly or by.
Thank you, guys. You can exit the stage now.
Thank you.
Courtesy Court, can you open the door?